it says if I just soak my feet in hydrogen peroxide every day for like a week, maybe it'll just go away. So he somehow found a way to procure a gallon of hydrogen peroxide at some ridiculous percentage. And like, I'm like, screw it, just have athlete's foot.
Vapo rub.
Collie. Delicious collie.
You'd think they'd be stringy, but they're actually delish.
Well, there's still kind of a pressure cooker or a slow cooker crock pot kind of thing, but yeah.
Okay. All right, we're doing, welcome to Talking Over Albums. This may be episode 21.
21?
Or maybe episode 22, depending on if we do two, and depending on which one I feel like editing first.
Yeah.
So, whatever the case is, our podcast is now...
Balls across the nose.
Our podcast is now legal to drink.
Yay!
If I had that little party popper...
Ziggy the mascot is here.
Right now. Yes, we're here in...
That's the whistle
we're
in the
here
background.
we're here after a long hiatus at the Kinnears Lounge. Here with the Ziglet. Here with Jason, and I'm Brett. Because I realized it builds familiarity or some like you need to tell the audience who you are once in a while for some reason.
I'm Jason.
People want to know who you are.
And this is Ziggy.
What they're listening to. Okay, so we're back after hiatus. How was your vacation?
Oh my god, I went to California. It was so California cool. Mm-hmm. Right.
Did you see that one guy from that thing?
No, but we did see Jane Lynch walking her dog. You can ask Chris about it. She was very excited about it. And I was just kind of driving, so I was, why are you hanging out the window? What is going on? It's Jane Lynch! Ah! I'm like, well, I gotta watch the road because it's a very tiny road.
Well, I believe
She'll be able to give you much more detail.
Yeah, I don't really,
at a later date.
I don't really get
or an earlier date, depending on which one you had at first.
I don't get starstruck, and I don't care about celebrities, but I would get excited if I saw Jane Lynch
walking your little rescue dog.
So you had a nice vacation, and before that we had Yacht Rock
Santa Barbara.
We had Yacht Rock Part 4, which is great.
Lots of Germans. It was weird.
Yeah.
Yacht Rock.
Part 4 was a success. We tried to do a podcast, but it was too flippin' hot.
It was too hot. Nobody wanted to talk. They just wanted to drink.
Nobody died, and nobody cried.
Hey, that's a first.
Here's another first. Everybody. I have to put on my classic rock voice. You know you're listening to your local rock station. Because I'm talking in a deep, sleazy, raspy announcer voice that makes everything I say sound vaguely sexual.
Ooh, it's like we're on GLO.
Now, get ready for some... Get the lead out.
Get the lead out.
Get it out. I'm gonna hump the microphone.
Get the lead out. Isn't that how they do it over and over again?
Why does classic rock, or rock stations in general, why do they have to be sexy? Why can't it just be like, hey guys, we're playing some dorky dad rock?
It's really just a bunch of pudgy dudes listening to it. They gotta do something to make, like, punch it up a little bit.
You wanna see our hot babes calendar from Hooters?
Well, you really... I mean, the teenage kid that's listening to it, you really got to let him think that there is like
how many teenage kids are listening to
they want to believe. Listen, they want to believe that there's some 19-year-old Pamela Anderson type, or what's the latest? What's the
Cardi
don't say
B.
Demi Lovato because she's got a problem. We don't get to talk about Demi Lovato, which is not Ariana Grande.
Is there a big, sex icon that boys idolize right now? I don't think it's Kim Kardashian anymore. So I never liked her, but...
What do I hear about all the time? I still hear a lot about Kardashians, and...
Oh, might be...
I know embarrassingly too much about them.
Yeah, it might be one of the endless offspring. I think one of the Jenners now. They morphed into the... So it might be her.
There's one named Clyde
Jenner.
Clyde Lee.
Clyde Lee Jenner.
Clyde Lee Kardashian.
Snidely Whiplash.
She makes makeup or something? I don't know.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Right, we're going to do Led Zeppelin today.
We're doing the Zepp. we're getting it out. We're getting our lead out.
We're doing the least Zeppelin album.
It's 2 for Tuesday times 3.5.
Because it's Wednesday.
I don't know. Okay, this is technically their last album. There's Coda, which is garbage. But there was all
it's like
what was
it's just B-sides and how can you call it garbage when it's
whatever.
not like a
what's the one where it's like mostly white but it has the picture of the family from the 50s on the cover, like dining presents. That was after. No, that was before this.
Yep.
That's one of the. We should have done that.
Nah, too late. We're doing it through the outdoor.
No, I don't want to do it. But that's an even more mysterious, vague Zeppelin album. Like, because Zeppelin always gets this.
This one's always the one where I loved the album when my friend showed me how when you got the album wet, it turned into color, and then when it dried off, it turned back into black and white or sepia. I think they call it sepia.
Oh, this.
Yeah, In Through the Outdoor, the album, the actual LP album.
Oh, so it's a great cover. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out what was going on it. It almost looks like the opposite angle of Pete Townshend's Glass Half Empty, like the side angle from it. If you swap back and add the two girls to his side. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, Presence and In Through the Outdoors, Zeppelin always gets this reputation of, like, being like flawless and just having these great monolith albums. But then you have these two, which are like very anemic. That's always the thought that comes to mind. Granted, I'm willing to do this one because this has 3 of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs.
Oh boy, we start that out every time, and then by the end of the album, you're like, all right, I changed my mind. I hate it now.
No, I'm not saying anything about the album, but I'm just saying Zeppelin had 2 anemic albums. This is probably better than Presence, I think, but it's got Southbound Suarez, which I think is one of the most underrated Zeppelin songs. Fool in the Rain is my favorite Zeppelin song, and In the Evening is really good and a cool way to start an album, but I'm willing to get it started.
I like. That's something I have to say. In the Evening, that's an interesting way to start an album because it doesn't have that. What everybody usually does is it's not that huge up tempo, get excited, get you pumped up for the rest of the album kind of thing. It goes completely the opposite direction, and I kind of like that. It's like
I always get that song.
I'm going to start you off mid-tempo, mid-range, mid-everything.
Yeah, like a nice build-up song. I always get it confused with In the Light from Physical Graffiti. They're very similar, and honestly, right now, I can't think of the difference between them. Hold on, here's Presence was 76. So that was... Yeah, wow.
Couple of years.
Track listing.
That was 3 years. That was a long time for them.
Achilles'
they were
last...
out of ideas.
So it's a pretty good album. It's just yeah.
But every band runs out of ideas after a while.
Achilles' Last Stand, For Your Life, I haven't listened to in a really long time. Royal Orleans is fine. Nobody's Fault But Mine, classic. Candy Store Rock is throwaway. Hots for Nowhere is throwaway. And T for... Yeah. So, yeah, this and Presence are very similar in that the second side is mostly just filler and throwaway stuff.
Let's get going.
Like on Presence, you have 4 tracks that are classic and genius, and then just...
I'm excited to hear it.
All right. And,
it's been quite a while since I've listened to this album.
Zeppelin, In the Evening.
Maybe they watched Star Wars and just decided, we can't do anything better.
That's another thing I didn't really mention in
Dune.
that I didn't really mention in the intro. This is 1979. So that's what I'm fascinated by in that era of history of classic rock is the late 70s and early 80s. You have this weird overlap because like by 1979 you're already like 2 or 3 years into punk rock and
disco. Like
you're almost getting into like
you're disco, and then you have the backlash of punk, and then you have these guys still hanging on to this.
Yeah, like the Talking Heads had already had an album out for 2 years at this point, and it couldn't be more different than this. You're talking about like night and day. I know things overlap, but this might have been kind of the last real hurrah of the 70s classic rock, like Ball.
Like you might sit and listen to an entire album.
Yeah, with like Ball's classic rock, not like super polished.
Right around, yeah, somewhere between like 78 and 83, things started changing. I think. That's how I feel about it. It was more about the single than the album. If sell more albums if you have a single. like the Police is a great example of this. Like the last of the, I have a concept for the album, you know, like every song kind of fits together. And then all of a sudden it starts turning into, there could be a song on an entire album, one song on there that's radio friendly, and the rest of it has nothing to do with that song.
Sure.
Like, that started happening a lot. I remember getting albums when I was a kid and going, the rest of this album has nothing to do with the song that I liked. It's like...
I mean, like, MTV wasn't around yet at this point, but you're starting to get into... Yeah, they are pushing standout singles more and more in albums.
Yeah, MTV. Exactly. MTV starts up and it's like, how do I get on MTV? How do I get played on probably New York City radio? That's probably the one that made everybody decide what was what. I mean, let's be honest.
I could picture if this came out a couple years later, like Fool in the Rain, if they had somehow made an entertaining enough music video for it, it being some weird Zeppelin late artifact that...
You know, that's funny that you say that. I have some vague memory of, like, Night Flight having some kind of made-up video for a Led Zeppelin song. I don't... Wow. You just, like, tripped something in my brain.
That kind of rings a bell. I
like,
sort
like
of
it was
know.
Like not authorized. Like they made played the song, but they made up a video or something. I don't know. I have some weird recollection of a Led Zeppelin song like this one, or...
Oh, you just reminded me...
Unlike David Bowie, who immediately embraced the video idea, like loved it. You know, it's like Led Zeppelin just it's like as a band they couldn't wrap their heads around it, but David Bowie just like grabbed. You know, it's like you always, as a kid, you'd sit there and go, "Well, why don't you have a video? David Bowie can have a video."
Because there's certain of artists who are just always TV friendly. Like the Beatles had a bunch of music videos.
Yeah.
So there are artists who just would not do them. I mean, they would go on TV and perform, but there are people who made music videos before MTV. There were just certain artists who would not do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder if they're full of themselves, or if they if they were on the right track. Like no, my thing needs to be heard, and experienced orally and not visually, or something.
So on a slightly different topic, you get so many albums with great bands where so much of the time you get the lead singer end up hijacking the group. Mm-hmm. I think this is one of the rare bands where it doesn't really happen, because this is their last proper album, but I do get a sense that Robert Plant, at least the way it's produced, this sounds fairly close to what he did with like Pictures at 8 and like his early solo stuff, where it's becoming, where there's less pyrotechnics and intricacy in the songs, and it's becoming a little bit more geared towards him. I don't think he takes this over by any means. If I could
pose a guess, if you know what happens next, it's like this sounds a lot like Robert Plant now, right? Like, so he's completely Jimmy Page is checked out.
Yeah, because I mean, that's a fine song. I like it, but there's nothing really going on.
There's nothing Jimmy Page about it. There's no layering of guitar work or any of that stuff you've heard in Houses of the Holy and stuff like that.
That's what's crazy is
it's very straightforward.
It's still really good
and very
but everyone's checked out except for Robert Plant.
There's some synthesizer, a lot
Southbound
of synthesizer.
Suarez. This gets my vote. This Living Loving Maid and Four Sticks are in my top 5 most underrated Zeppelin songs.
But I think literally the next thing Jimmy Page did after Led Zeppelin broke up was The Firm, which is, while I like it, it's still like Jimmy Page is kind of like, I want to do something, but I'm checked out. You know, like it's, I know the basics. I still want to do the basics. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you ever listen, I think it's The Firm. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I tried listening to it. I remember you recommending it. It sounded like Billy Squier.
I think it's interesting. Okay, here's the interesting thing about The Firm. You don't have to go listen to it. but know that the Firm is literally the lead singer of Bad Company, who Led Zeppelin made money off of because they brought him into their record company.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Page was just like, hey, we need to make a couple more albums and get some money out of this or something. That's how it felt to me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I liked the Firm. Like the first album, I liked it. And then the second album was like, all right, you're literally just here for a paycheck. It's like
you can tell when something
ridiculous.
Like manufactured isn't always bad, and I have no problem with like somebody gearing towards commercial, not commercial success, but like but when somebody's aware of an audience, like especially when you're doing some kind of supergroup thing, quote unquote.
Right.
Where there's just an inherent gloss to it. If the music's good, that's fine. There's nothing inherently a problem with that. It's just if the songs aren't really good, then kind of the posturing and the everyone bow down to us thing kind of takes over.
Well, we'll have to do the Firm's first album sometime. So you can
here's the thing I did not know. One, I had no idea John Paul Jones could play piano, but he's the one who does keys on this and Fool in the Rain.
Whoa.
And that's a pretty damn good piano part at the end of. It's basic chords mostly, but it's still
I can't do any of
that. Yeah, so I learned something new in the podcast.
And as much as Paul McCartney would like to tell you, I don't know if he could do it either. That reminds me of Bono when they decided they wanted some...
Wow, the ugliest dog ever just walked by your...
Oh, don't call her that. That's mean.
No, not... Yeah. The song is so basic. There's no progressive element to it, in that when you think of Led Zeppelin, you think of hard rock and stuff, but you also think of things that build and flow. And this is so straight ahead. I think the song is genius, and it's awesome. But at the same time, everybody sounds bored. It's like a group of musicians who are immensely talented.
I honestly I don't want to take anything away from it, but this is a Robert Plant album. Yeah. It's like everybody else is just kind of like, this is not interesting to me at all.
Yeah, it's like...
Maybe John Paul Jones was interested. Like, maybe he was interested. But, I mean, like, you don't hear anything Jimmy Page here. You don't hear that. Like I said, that interesting... Like, he always wanted to do something with guitars. He always was, like, overdubbing and doing all kinds of crazy...
And to be fair, it's kind of the song style, too. Because you're getting into, like, a little bit... Like, in the evening... Like a little mysterious kind of Arab vibe. Southbound Suarez, you're getting a little like Latin vibe. Fool in the Rain, a little bit of calypso in there. Like, here's my favorite song of all time.
It keeps the whole train rolling.
Fool in the Rain.
You put out an album and it keeps the train rolling. Fool in the Rain, folks. We just started.
And
me, everybody likes this one, I think. I think this is like the best.
I think they invented
song in the album.
Sophistopop, and this is a Robert Plant song because he was always into that kind of jazzy, sophisticated thing. So, like last song, like Southbound Suarez, it's so straightforward. Everybody sounds bored except for Robert Plant, but it's still a great song because
I feel like it's so good that like a year later, Phil Collins ripped it off, didn't he? What's that song? Misunderstanding or something. The one where
you're talking about this. I was still talking about Southbound.
Sorry, I was on to the next song.
But my last thing, like Southbound Suarez, everybody sounds bored, but they were such good musicians that they can be bored and still make great music. But you can tell they're bored, but it doesn't mean the song's not good. Yeah,
that was Led Zeppelin from the get-go. It was just meh.
Yeah, this is easily and has remained for years and years in my top 10 favorite song, top 5 favorite songs.
Are we talking about Fool in the Rain now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're like a minute in now.
Like, but it hits every... Like, other than like the weird abstract things that I like in music, this hits everything that I love about pop music pretty much. It's happy. Like, to me, the song is... instant happiness.
I know this was maybe the first song that I ever tried to sing along to and realize, and like you have that moment where you realize I don't sound anything like this guy singing right now.
I sound like Leonard Cohen.
I sound terrible. I sound like Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Lynyrd. Lynyrd Skynyrd.
I shouldn't be mean. We should do a Lynyrd Skynyrd album sometime.
No.
That would be
Lynyrd
funny.
Skynyrd.
Exactly. It'd be hilarious.
Should
make you listen to it multiple times.
We should do a
All right.
I want to start a French Lynyrd Skynyrd cover band.
Love that I found.
Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Oh, that I found.
Whistle.
Oh, English people love their whistles. That means queue up. Get in line. Queue up. Get in line. I didn't know that when I was a kid. Whenever you hear a whistle, you're supposed to queue up.
There goes the ugliest dog in the world back across the
Oh.
wait, no. No, I thought that. No, that's not.
Oh, no, she gave it away. Oh, no, those people. They have a giant dog. This dumbass thinks he can take it.
When music
The
surpasses...
carouselambra.
Yeah, like when music surpasses any kind of real critical evaluation, just goes purely to your emotions. For me, that's this song. I have never not liked this song. Like, there's never been a time when I've been bored with it. And there are maybe a handful of songs like that. Another one would be Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic.
I remember listening to this with my friend in high school and just going, I'm glad you like it. It's like, I had to grow up more and, like, learn to like it kind of thing.
One of his best drum rolls.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and and that's such a great effect, like his solo, Jimmy Page's solo here, where he does the octave effect, where it drops the tone down. I think he has like a proto fuzz pedal on there, like an early type of fuzz, and then in an octaver, so it gives it that deep, buzzy. There's no food in there, Chief.
Look, he wants to lay in his chair.
No. I don't have opposable thumbs. I can't move this.
You're in my chair. God.
Yeah, this is pretty much Robert Plant's. This is his proto solo song.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Coda is like literally John Bonham died. Here's all the shit we didn't put on an album, you know, and they just out an album because they knew they'd make some money off of it. They got me to buy it.
Oh yeah, so you were talking about Phil.
I don't remember how I bought it, but I got it.
You were talking about Phil Collins. Yeah, it's the exact same lyrical content of I'm a guy waiting for a date.
And what?
Doesn't even... It's fun. They're completely different songs. I mean, it's one of those rare ones where he rips off the punchline of the song.
Right.
Because I think he even does the end where he says, oh, I was waiting on the wrong block. So he did...
Right.
He did like a completely different, and yet it's still a remake.
Sure.
But he did it twice. He did...
Yeah.
A Man on the Corner and Misunderstanding. Although Man on the Corner is like a weird hybrid of this and Fool on the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's probably more Fool on the Hill. So he rips off songs. He rips off the intent of songs without them actually sounding anything alike.
I don't know. We can do No Jacket Required if you want to, and I'll tell you all the everything that sounds exactly like another song.
Yeah.
Billy, don't you lose my number.
No, see, that's another one. He lyrically...
Ricky, don't you lose my number.
Yeah, Ricky, don't lose my number. He rips off, like, lyrical intent, but the songs don't actually sound like anything.
Whatever, I still listen to it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like if you don't call a bird a bird,
here's the second half.
Matter.
Here's why I wanted to get in this reevaluation of this album. Because I use the word anemic, and where you have, like, an amazing front end and then just this weak-ass kind of filler back end.
Lots of piano, though.
He's a pretty damn good piano player. How come he never did anything up until this point?
He probably did all the time in his spare time.
Was Jimmy Page too? Was Jimmy
It's
Page?
kind of like Charlie Watts on the Rolling Stones. He has his own jazz band, and they're awesome, but it's not the Stones.
Was Jimmy Page just so strung out at this point that they were begging him to play piano?
I believe I've heard that.
Fill in.
I believe that sounds familiar.
this is where I need to give this a chance, because
I love Hot Dog. This is a great
don't-
song. This is Robert Plant exercising his range. If one thing English people love to do is have a good hoedown.
I don't... That's the thing.
Like, Rod Stewart does it. Jimmy Page has done it numerous times. Like, you look throughout his history, it's like, there's always a song buried somewhere where it's just like, isn't that just basically a country song? Like,
No, this is fine.
There's nothing wrong with country. It's just... I always found that, like, English people love it more than country fans do. Like, they respect it and do a better job at it. Like, the Stones do a better country song than than many country singers. I'm just like, you're just phoning it in. They wrote it, arranged it, recorded it, put it out, and what'd you do? You showed up.
Because they understood the basic camp that's inherent in country music.
Yeah.
And it was still kind of around at that time, but it's just gotten better in retrospect.
It's like the blues for white people.
Yeah. So what I'm saying with Hot Dog...
Now my baby's gone, I don't know what to do.
Part of my brain can understand this is a well-produced, well-performed song, but I don't like boogie-woogie country thing. So it's just the style of the song that I don't like.
Yeah.
So I can recognize that it's good. I just don't like this type of song.
It's amazing.
There's a The Country in England.
Yeah. And I think they like this.
Which album had The Crunge on it?
The other one.
Oh, God. Oh, this one's legitimately bad.
Oh, I love this song. What's it called?
Carouselambra.
Yeah, carouselambra.
No. It's that synthesizer riff that just... It's like a drill into my...
It sounds like a PBS commercial. Oh, John Paul Jones is just ruling this album.
Yeah, I don't think Jimmy Page is even on this song. He's somewhere overdosing.
No, he's
on
not
heroin.
doing this. He's like, no. This song is so bad, I kind of like it. When I hear it start playing, I just think,
God.
I can't wait for, like, Kermit and Fozzie to come up and go, watch PBS and give money. Like,
it might be a good song.
it's like a commercial or something.
I wonder if anyone's ever done a remix and
Buy
just
a
taken
Chrysler!
out...
Or something.
In what universe is that a pleasing keyboard synthesizer sound?
When you're waxed on smack.
Oh my God. It ruins the song, because this is an otherwise decent song. But you just have this horrible synthesizer over in the peripheries just playing the same noodly...
Is it really in the periphery? Because I think what's annoying you is it's not in the periphery at all. It's not in the background. It's up front. It's like before... Like, it's one of the things that I always think is funny about Led Zeppelin is how they like to hide the lyrics behind the music. And, like, they're afraid it's going to suck. Oh, I don't want anybody to find out this sucks. It's alright. The people that listen to this, they don't care. You go ahead and talk about Hobbits.
Wow. I'm reassessing. I think this was just an unfinished album. Because, like, imagine if Jimmy Page was actually on this song.
Yeah.
And it didn't have this stupid noodling synthesizer.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
Because it's a good...
It's kind of like the crappy parts of Van Halen's 1984, when everybody just said, okay, Eddie, you can play the synthesizer.
Like,
that's what this sounds like to me. Okay.
Feels so good.
Okay. Let's do the song so he'll shut up and we can go back to what makes money.
Flamenco.
This is something about it. It's just kind of like...
Yeah, because, like, oh my God, this is 10 minutes and 32 seconds long.
I'm going to get another drink.
10 minutes and 32 seconds. Yeah, this is going to be the first time we both leave the podcast. Goodbye, folks. The one thing I'll say is God bless John Paul Jones for being able to play the same stupid noodly riff for 10 minutes. Wow.
Pretty impressive, really, don't you think?
Oh, it slows down. So it's not just the same thing.
Oh, good. It's just like that Presence song.
Oh, it's good. Oh, Jimmy Page showed up finally. So, two thoughts. One, what carousel ride lasts 10 minutes?
Carouselambra.
Okay, so here he is.
Okay, I'm back, folks.
So they need to do like a special edition where they cut out the first half of this song. Because this is tolerable.
Eh.
It doesn't have that stupid noodly riff. And Jimmy Page is playing dumb block chords. Like a lazy sack of heroin-induced jackassery.
I don't like this song. But I think it's funny. I think,
I'm trying to salvage it.
I like it, I hate it. It's like, I hate it, and that's why I like it. Because I'd love to just go, like, to a bar and just play this song and make people listen to it for 10 minutes. And then there's always going to be that 4 or 5 nerdy dudes that are going to go, oh, thank you for playing this. This is so good.
No.
You know, the guy with the long hair in the corner.
See, at least there goes another pooch. At least it's not making my ears bleed.
No, it's not ear bleeding. It's just unoriginal. He's sitting there getting
watching John Paul.
He's getting his
Jones.
warbles down just right. He sounds like a bleeding goat.
It's like, oi.
It's not that. It's always funny. It's like
excuse me.
I get to make fun of him. It doesn't matter.
I've never made it this far into the song.
Oh, you don't know the part about the PBS special? This is a special called Planet Earth.
Wow, this part sounds truly dated. Oh no. Honestly, I've never made it past halfway through the song. I didn't even know it changed tempo.
Oh my god, it changes all the time. It's like 7 different songs. Are we about done with this? Folks? No.
See,
I have to tell you,
Ziggy hates
carouselambra is 10 minutes and 32 seconds of, I don't know, dyspepsia. My stomach is bothering me. I had to go get some cranberry juice. There's 2 minutes left of it, and there's like lasers going off in my ears. But like really fake Moog synthesizer lasers.
Oh, you know what's weird? Here's something we can talk about. Is very rarely do you get a band whose actual death, like the death of the band is recorded, and this is it. This is the end of Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah.
In this song.
Just because it comes up fifth in the order does not mean this wasn't the last song. This was the death.
Yeah, because
they just stuck it in the middle because, oh my god, is it so obviously the death knell?
And I mean, granted, you don't know when songs are recorded in the process.
Come on.
And another thing is, Zeppelin didn't really have a good Goodbye Folks type of song.
All of My Love. I thought that was their...
I hate that song.
Yeah, but it was like, but it was their bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Ugh.
I really felt like it was their bye-bye song. I think they were done.
I think Fool in the Rain was their bye-bye, and then they collapsed.
See, I think Coda was just a bunch of shit that they threw together from previous albums that didn't make it. And it sounds like that. If you listen to it, it sounds like that. There are things that sound like they're from earlier in their thing and from later. You know what I mean? Because there's like 1 or 2 songs on there that I'm like, oh, I almost like this. Like, they almost made a song. Okay.
All right, 40 seconds. Dave Matthews Band Wine.
Look, you did it.
Satellite.
Now give him a pat.
Drink my wine.
All of my love. All of my love. Oh, this is classical.
All of My Love is definitely a Robert Plant song, too.
All of my love.
I can't stand it. I can't.
All of my love. See, I can't be sued because I can't get it right.
I could picture it being a good song if it was done in a different context, but like, Jesus. You just have the rest of the band just sort of obtusely banging along to it. So it's supposed to be this like kind of heartfelt ballad.
I feel like half this album is just people just showing up and doing their job. Like, they knew they were going to make bazillions of dollars just putting out an album. It did not matter. Like, what they put out, they could have...
Don't sniff my crotch there, buddy.
Like, I always joked, what was that album? Bob Seger put out an album.
Stop sniffing my crotch!
Anyway, Bob Seger
Put
put
your
out an
face over
album,
there.
and I always told people, I was like, Bob Seger could have walked up and just farted into a microphone, and people would have bought it. He was just that popular. You know what I mean?
Stupid synthesizer.
And Led Zeppelin's like that here. It's just, you're going to be mad at them because they just showed up one more time and threw some shit together. Aw, he loves you.
So my theory in this, it's my favorite part, is not doing any research for this podcast and just making up theories for things I think existed.
Right.
I think Robert Plant was in the studio for maybe 40% of the time, and they were just doing their best by getting John Paul Jones to double on bass and synthesizers.
I wish I could remember that. I read the book, and I can't remember what it was called.
Hammer of the Gods.
Was that what it was called? Maybe that was what it was called. I read a book.
Yeah, you told me about it.
Okay. And they explained all this stuff, and it was really funny. By the time you get to the end of their career, you're just like...
He's like, you kissed me, now I'm making out!
They don't care, and I don't care. Nobody cares.
Lay down, Ziggy. Lay down! This song is so boring.
Yeah, but man, did it make a good song for your prom night.
Like the melody is good. Like the basic vocal melody is good. Lyrically, there's nothing that wrong with it. It's schmaltzy. My problem with this is...
Oh, this is your prom song. You don't even know.
No, my problem with this song is that the backing makes no sense. It's just them generally thumping along when it needs like a nice, delicate, sentimental backing. Yeah, this is the most bored Led Zeppelin ever was. Thump, thump, thump.
I think what you're missing is Robert Plant is not bored at all. He is loving the shit out of this. And I think that explains... I think that explains everything.
Hey, I've read this book. Wait, no, I haven't. I've read all of his other books.
Nah.
Oh, wait. I did read this.
This song is so boring.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Bill Bryson. I'm pretty sure I read it. Yeah, I think... Yeah.
It's like 20 years ago.
I try to read most of his books.
I didn't even know anybody... I didn't know he existed till somebody gave me that book.
Oh, he's good. He's funny.
He was alright.
Another stupid, noodly... Whoa, nice jump. You should have seen that Olympic-style jump, Ziggy, just...
Yeah, he can clear a moat.
Oh, God. You know what? I'm not doing it, because it's just...
Come on.
No, because it's just this. We're not going to miss anything. Fine. We'll survive.
Alright, let's call it. The death of In Through the Outdoor is at All of My Love.
No, I'm going to go...
exactly 3 minutes and 15 seconds through.
I'm going to listen to... I'm going to crawl.
We're skipping.
Because I've heard this song so many times.
He can't do it.
Like, nothing's going to change.
He's
I
a
hate
puss.
the freaking
He's
song.
a puss. He can't handle the boring song. He can't handle the boring song.
And this sounds like it's from Mario 64. This might be the actual...
Oh, it's like 8-bit music.
Death of Led Zeppelin. Oh, no, this is total Robert Plant. This is when everyone has vacated the studio.
He's there with whoever the wrote songs with him or whatever. Because he can't play anything. So he had to have somebody help him write songs, right? So there was somebody that showed up and started doing this. That's what I think.
Another reason I always kind of take this as a Robert Plant thing. It's the same
Big log.
Like the vocal effect he does on this. This is the first time he really did that, and he did it like on all his subsequent solo albums. I can tell it when I hear it, but I can't really pinpoint what's going on. It's like
I had two Robert Plant
like a lot of reverb
tapes.
a lot of reverb, a little bit of like slap delay.
I had two Robert Plant tapes.
This is just him.
And they sounded exactly the same. But I'll give him this. I got back to the point where what was that album, the Tall Cool one? Remember that one? Like somebody came up with a good idea for him, and that album's pretty good. Like after the Gold Diggers or whatever they were called, the Goldfingers.
So the one thing I will say about
Goldfinger.
The one thing I'll say about Robert Plant, he never ever gave a subpar vocal performance.
No.
You could always claim. I mean, I don't know. Like
Jimmy Page did not show up for this album at all.
Yeah, because
John Paul Jones showed up. I hear it.
Yeah, he at least played keyboards.
I hear John Bonham. I hear him.
He sounds tired as. That's somebody on autopilot. He's still better than everybody else.
But he still showed up. He sounds
sure, but there's a difference, and I think that's the moral of this episode is that you can show up and still be better than everybody else. They're all better musicians than like 90% of everybody. But you can just tell when someone's not putting in real effort. But it doesn't mean they're still not better technically. But you can still tell when someone's not living up to their actual potential. So let's say Zeppelin had just done a bunch of albums like on this caliber. I would be a lot more like forgiving of it. But we're talking about comparison here.
I think they did. You just weren't paying attention.
And to me, this album is like
I tried to get you to listen to The Firm, and then you would understand how Jimmy Page was so checked out. He formed another band and didn't even show up to be like do any like guitar work for that. It's like, how does Jimmy Page get into a band and not even do the freaking guitar part?
All right, let's get into final thoughts.
Sorry, I'm gonna crawl is boring. We're done, guys.
Oh, this is boring as crap. And so I think this is technically the last original.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know the order, but
no, the only one after this is Coda, and Coda is literally just a B-sides kind of let's cash in. John Bonham died, and we don't want to do anything else. That's literally what that is.
That's why I love doing this album. You just like the weird different impressions I get, like sitting at. It's like therapy. This whole thing is therapy, where I'm sitting here talking out why something doesn't work, as opposed to just kind of putting on the headphones and skipping things when I feel like it.
You gotta work it out. You gotta feel it. How do you feel about this?
It sounds like a really, really talented band who got really bored really quickly.
Couldn't figure out what the next step was.
No. Because there was nowhere to go.
Where do we go now?
Yeah, to be honest, the best thing that happened to them...
They painted themselves into a not very bluesy or rocky corner, and where do you go now? What do you do? They might have figured it out eventually, but...
I don't want to sound shitty. I'm not glorifying any death, and I wish John Bonham hadn't died, but I'm just saying he did them a favor.
Some things just end when they're supposed to end. Like the Eagles. Nothing was gonna come after...
Oh, thank God that's done.
I'm just saying, that I use that as an example, like... Oh,
that comes to such a Peter... It peters. I've never listened to an album that peters more than this. It just peters.
It's like a little that isn't done peeing.
It's like a wiener that just shrivels up and evaporates in the desert.
Shiver.
It just sounds like punk killed this album. Like, okay, I'm gonna rate it. I'll give it 1 in and out of 4 outdoors.
I'm going to give it 4.5 saltpeters.
I don't know what a saltpeter is.
Flaccid penises?
Saltpeter.
4.5 flaccid salt.
Nice.
Peters. That's all I got.
All right. I had a thought before that. I don't care. It's a band.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, it's. I'm still in my own personal therapy trying to figure out how Zeppelin died.
Hi.
Hi.
That's not what you were bringing in.
No.
Or you trying to figure out how to wear it?
I wore it.
So I knew you would like it.
I wore it to work today, and I got complimented on it. Just like yesterday.
Nancy!
Yeah. I'm good at picking on clothes for you.
2 shirts. You did good.
Well, you haven't washed them yet.
So, Led
They were
Zeppelin.
$1. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Muscle.
Look, we'll get into it later about how they started out as a rip-off band and they didn't want to pay royalties. And then they got great and then they got bored. And I think we got to the point, we just did the part where they got bored first. That's all.
You know what happened?
They got bored.
If they had been like prescient enough, they could have evolved into Power Station. All right, goodbye, folks.
Watch PBS and give money.
Watch PBS and give money.
It's alright. The people that listen to this, they don't care.